And although there's pain in my chest, I still wish you the best without forgetting you. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't afford a Ferrari, but that don't mean I can't get you there. I guess she's an Xbox and I'm more an Atari, but the way you play your game ain't fair.
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5. So glad to, and 102.3. So glad to have you with us this morning. Sorry. I am, my allergies are bugging me this morning. It's that time of year.
Yeah, it is, and it's going to warm up today, too. It's going to be in the 90s.
Yeah, where summer is upon us. I know it's just the beginning of June, like June 4th, but summer is definitely upon us.
Yeah, and we both stayed up way too late, which is another summer feature that sometimes happens.
Yeah, but you got the day off.
I know. And you were up late working, and I was just up late goofing off. So
you're watching Psych, which is such a great show.
Yeah.
You know, reruns. I that's one of those shows that I understand that there's only so long that they could carry on the bit, but it's always entertaining.
It really is.
It's always entertaining. And I really like watching I watched bits of it. The tap dancing episode, because Dule Hill is a really banging tap dancer.
He is so talented in so many ways.
He is, and we're big fans. We loved The West Wing. We loved Holes, of course. We love absolutely, and we love both. We love him and his chemistry with James Roday, and James Roday was awesome in Psych. So if you've never watched the show, they have reruns. We were watching reruns on Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
And they have, do they have some reruns on Netflix? I don't remember. I don't think so. I think they're just on Amazon Prime.
Yeah, they might.
So just watch them. They're hilarious. Start from the beginning, and they're just wildly entertaining.
So we got a good show today, Erin, and we have to start with this story. We've actually got two stories about that 30-year-old man who was evicted from his parents' home.
Yes, right? He finally launched.
He finally launched. His parents, had to go all the way to the Supreme Court of New York State to get him out, right?
And he didn't really launch. He went to his uncle's house.
Yeah, so apparently Friday was moving day for him, right? So he was finally evicted from his parents' home only hours before the court-ordered deadline, right? So he waited to the last minute. Imagine how hard that must have been for his parents, because this has been in the news now for several weeks, right? And he's still been there several weeks, just taking his good old time, right?
How, as a parent, you love your child, right? I mean, even if your child's an adult, you love your child. And, how do you get to the point where you have to go to court to get your kid out of your house? Yeah. And I say, kid, the man's 30 years old. I can't imagine the turmoil that his mom and dad must have been going through.
No, I know. And so, it's ridiculous. So finally on Friday, he's leaving his home, and as he pulls out of the driveway, he honks and waves to the reporters, right? His parents live in Camillus, New York. Now, his parents, Mark and Christina Rotondo, brought the court case against their son last month after several eviction letters that offered money and other help were ignored. They offered him $1,100 so he could help to find him a place to stay and nudged him to get a job. And then on May 22nd, a court appearance drew national attention because Rotondo refused the judge's request to work things out directly with his parents. He failed to persuade the judge to grant him another 6 months living with his parents. And Rotondo had until noon on Friday to be out of the house, and he was seen loading a cooler and garbage bags full of items into a pickup truck. He is putting his stuff in storage, and he will stay at an Airbnb until he finds a permanent place to live. If you were an Airbnb person, would you let him stay there for a little bit?
Actually, no. It's hard. Well, and in California, it's very, very difficult to evict someone.
Yeah.
And so he could become a squatter in your house.
I know. That's what I would be worried about, right? Now, Rotondo credited right-wing radio host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, who had asserted that the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre was a hoax, with providing him a $3,000 check to cover rental and other costs. He said later he plans on moving in with a distant cousin, and that's according to the Post-Standard of Syracuse. Rotondo has said that his eviction fight is connected with his efforts to get back visitation time with his 8-year-old son. He lost custody and unsupervised visitation with the boy back in 2017.
Well, and he's a total deadbeat. He hasn't paid child support in ages.
That's the other story, right? So the second story on him is about him being that deadbeat. He owes thousands of dollars in child support for the 8-year-old son, right? So not only was he living for free with his parents, but he wasn't paying anything towards taking care of his kid. And, when you go through a divorce proceeding, they get into your finances with a fine-tooth comb, and all the stuff gets revealed in court.
Right.
And, of course, now since the media has started digging on this story, they found out all the specifics. And it's really quite disgusting. I mean, this guy just hasn't stepped up. So he owes the single mother of his son back child support. The mom, who asked to remain anonymous, said Rotondo owes about $2,500 in child support. Until 2016, he was only required to pay $25 a month. That's so ridiculously low.
Yeah, that's essentially 1.5 cups of coffee a week.
Yes. But in October, the mom filed a petition to increase the child support, which she says he fought tooth and nail. The judge sided with the mom and raised the support to $56 a week and tore into Rotondo regarding his efforts to get a job, calling them minimal at best. So $56 a week, now that's a couple $100 a month, but that's still not ridiculous, right? Now, according to court records obtained by the Post, he has paid over $10,000 for a storage unit that housed his busted 1989 Chevy Camaro for the past 5 years.
Here's the thing, genius. You got to sell that car and be a man and take care of your responsibilities.
Right. So he's been paying a couple grand a year for storage for a vehicle that's inoperable that he could have sold and got some cash for and helped to pay this for his kid, right? And then a June 2017 filing shows that he's also paying $920 a year in car insurance for that very same broken down Camaro with flat tires, and for a Volkswagen station wagon that didn't run either. So he's got several broken down cars that he's paying insurance on and paying for storage, but he didn't have money for his kid. How screwed up is that, right? Now, Rotondo's expenses completely undermined his claim that he can't afford to pay child support, according to the judge. During the custody case, Rotondo testified that he had only applied for 2 jobs that year and had considered applying at Staples, but he does not think that it is a good environment. Right? Right?
Wow.
He also passed on attending a parent support program, which would have aided him in his job search. The woman, the mother of his child, says, he terrorized me. He terrorized me. And I believe it. Right? You think about how he treated his parents, how he's treated his ex, his kid. I wouldn't give this guy custody, partial custody, even any of that.
Well, and at this point, I don't know that anybody's going to give him a job.
Right?
I mean, what a loser.
Right? He is obviously off in a lot of ways. He's not thinking straight, you know?
Well, his idea that Staples didn't seem like a... First of all, how the heck would he know?
Yeah.
Honestly, it's an office supply store. What does he expect?
Yeah.
You know,
it's retail. You're either stocking shelves or directing a customer to find something or ringing up at the register.
Yes, or sweeping up at the end of the day.
It's not that hard.
It's not that hard.
Yeah.
Well, let's just say it is simple, but it's hard work.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. It's,
Yeah.
You know, he could be unloading trucks. He could be stocking shelves.
Yeah. You're right.
Cleaning up the floor. But it's not rocket science.
Yeah. And typically people who work in those environments, they get those kinds of jobs because they like, either the physical labor of it or they like working with people, right? They enjoy, hey, I like when the people come in, I get to talk with customers or whatever. You know?
Or they're looking to move up in the company. I mean, Staples is a big company.
It is.
We're talking about Staples, but it could easily be Walmart or Target or
Any of those
large retail stores, Office Depot, whatever, Guitar Center. But this guy, wow, he just thinks the world owes him a living.
Yeah, he is a real deadbeat. That's the title of the story, right? Deadbeat son. And he is. I feel for this kid, right? Seeing his dad in the news, and knowing all these things, it's just ridiculous.
I wonder what he was like before the divorce. If he was like this before the divorce, it's little wonder they got divorced.
Right.
But clearly he had something going for him when they got married. Maybe they were just both really young and, maybe he could talk a good game. I have no idea.
Right.
Not enough information yet on this guy, but wow.
Well, we keep seeing stories about him, and I have a suspicion he's going to do something else dumb that's going to get him in the news. You just watch.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't rent to him. I would not, because, like I said...
Oh, you'll never get him out.
You'll never get him out.
That poor Airbnb person's in for a ride. That's the next story.
That's the next story. So
Airbnb terrorized by a 30-year-old deadbeat.
So with that, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are On the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
San Bernardino is broken. Broken streets, broken ideas, broken priorities, broken promises, just plain broke. There's never been a more important time to change San Bernardino than now, and that change starts with electing Gigi Hanna for mayor.
I can trust Gigi because she's smart and she knows what she's doing. As a city clerk, she didn't get a vote, but she's seen what's wrong firsthand. Gigi Hanna can fix San Bernardino.
Growing up in San Bernardino, I know one thing. San Bernardino needs a new mayor, and now we've got to take our city back. We've had smart, but not honest. And sometimes we've had honest, but not smart. And we need to get both smart and honest. Gigi Hanna is that combo.
Gigi Hanna is just what San Bernardino needs. A smart, well-educated, and honest mayor who has San Bernardino's best interests at heart.
It's time to fix broken San Bernardino. Vote Gigi Hanna for mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Gigi Hanna for Mayor of San Bernardino 2018.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
This is Marge Doyle, RN, and I approve this message. As a registered nurse and candidate for Congress, I strongly support everyone having access to health care. Our pristine and irreplaceable public lands, which are directly tied to our economy and thousands of jobs, are not for sale to corporations. I will work to help immigrants find a path to citizenship, more education, vocational school opportunities. Reliable internet will bring new business to our district. Please vote for me, Marge Doyle, for Congress, June 5th.
Paid for by Marge Doyle for Congress 2018.
It's not just a home or a car. It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your epic wing recipe and the 3-hour family road trip to the tailgate party. While other insurance companies just see them as bundles or combos, State Farm agent Joe Amlani sees your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Joe understands what your things really mean to you, and he's here to help you give them the protection that they deserve. Call State Farm agent Joe Amlani in Redlands for your home and auto insurance today.
On June 5th, the choice is clear. James Ramos for State Assembly. James Ramos is tackling homelessness in our community, finding permanent housing for more than 400 veterans. Now he's helping homeless youth and families find housing. James Ramos is fighting to keep us safe. San Bernardino County Police and Sheriff support James Ramos for Assembly. We need him in the State Assembly, fighting for us. James Ramos for State Assembly. Paid for by People for Better Government Committee of the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians. Not authorized by a candidate or a committee controlled by a candidate.
Hey, this is Gary Garver. You know, I've been having trouble getting a good night's sleep lately. Maybe you have too. Well, if you have been, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study to help you find out how to get a great night of sleep. I've been having sleeping issues during the night lately for a number of reasons. South Pacific Sleep Lab evaluated me with an overnight study of my sleep pattern. With their professional staff, they were able to provide me with a diagnosis of my sleep pattern, and ever since, I haven't had much of a problem getting a great night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including one in Fontana, and they will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just give them a call at 844-SAD-5050 to schedule your appointment today. That's 844-SAD-5050.
KCAA.
If you change your mind, I'm the first in line. Honey, I'm still free. Take a chance on me. If you need me, let me know. Gonna be around. If you got no place to go when you're feeling down. If you're all alone, when the pretty birds have flown, honey, I'm still free.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. So the Mustang is the last car standing from the Ford Motor Company, at least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, I was so shocked when I heard this because, first off, I drive a Ford. And
it's a car.
It's a Ford C-Max. Now, prior to having the C-Max, I had a Ford truck, and I love their truck line. I had an F-150, and I get why they're sticking with their trucks and their SUVs. That's their bread and butter, and it's an awesome vehicle.
But it's what people are buying, apparently.
Yeah, but they basically got rid of all the rest of their cars except for the Mustang. And
if you think about it, it's the and I'm sorry to interrupt. It's the C-Max. It's the Fiesta. It's the Focus. It's all the other cars that they make.
Yeah,
they're gone.
And it's fascinating to me sort of how they're handling all this. Apparently, the next time you look at a new Ford Mustang, that it will not say Ford or Mustang anywhere on it. It will not have the little blue oval. There's no chrome name badge. But of course, you're going to know exactly what kind of car it is, right? They don't even need to put Ford on it because the Mustang is such a iconic look and style of car, right? And it is actually the world's biggest selling muscle car.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. But it's really interesting, though, when you look at the numbers. It's the best-selling sports car in the world, but that's not saying much because in 1965, the first full year that it was on the market, Ford sold well over 500,000 Mustangs just in North America. But this past year, with their sales spread out all over the whole globe, 146 nations, Ford only sold 126,000 Mustangs. So the demand for that kind of car has dropped dramatically, right? And it's in part because there's so much competition out there. But Ford handily beats the competition in this category. This is that iconic signature car in the Ford lineup.
Well, and 1965 was the first, if you were born in 1947, then you graduated from high school in 1965. So your first baby boomers who were born in like 1945, they were 20 years old. So this was a car that was marketed to them.
Yes.
The millennials are a different generation. So you went through from the baby boomers and through like all of the baby boomers, really, to Gen X, and now you're into the millennials, and soon you'll be into the Gen Z or whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
And so, everybody has different tastes. And, the one thing about Mustangs is they're not good on fuel.
Yeah. Well, they're not, but that's not their purpose.
Well, I get that.
Their purpose is to go really, really fast.
Right. But you're talking about the numbers that have dropped. The millennials they tend to be more frugal because they have to be. They're carrying student loan debt, et cetera, et cetera.
So the cool thing about the Mustang is that it really is that iconic car. It's not just considered an iconic Ford car. It really is sort of that iconic American car, right? And so the Mustang is to America as, let's say, the Ferrari is to Italy or the Jaguar is to England, right?
Which is owned by Ford.
Yeah. But, of course, it's cheaper than those cars. And this is what makes the Mustang so interesting is that they have such a wide range of options. Like you can get a really bare-bones Mustang for like $26,000 with a 4-cylinder engine, right? It's with a 310 horsepower turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, or you can pay up to $56,000, right? That's $30,000 more for a 526 horsepower Shelby GT350 engine, right? That has over 700 horsepower, and they have another one coming that's supposed to have over 700 horsepower, if you can imagine that.
Well, I'm sure that'll sell well in Germany.
Yeah. And so, I mean, this is a car that is built in a whole bunch of different models. You can basically, design your own version of it, get your own specs, and say, this is my price range. What can I get for that? And they've just done a great job with it. And they don't need to put the Ford logo on it because what do you see right on the front of the grill, Aaron?
A Mustang.
A Mustang.
But isn't that a little weird that they don't have their brand anywhere on the car?
I know.
I mean, they have the Mustang. That's great. But anywhere, because you think about where you're looking at cars. Say you're on the freeway or the highway, and you're coming up to a car, and you're like, "Wow, that looks really good," and you're not quite sure what it is because yes, it's an iconic look, but it changes a bit. When they cycle their model years, right?
Yes.
It doesn't look like the 1965 Mustang.
Yes.
1965 Mustangs are sweet.
They really, I love all of them, but yeah, you're right. Now, what's interesting to me is that when the Mustang was first introduced in Germany, guess what? It was the #1 sports car in Germany, even more popular than Porsche.
Well,
right?
because it was more, Porsches aren't cheap in Germany either.
Yeah, no, I know. But I think that's fascinating. And today it's the #1 selling sports car in China, right? And I'm sure that's a great big burgeoning market as the Chinese economy grows and more people can afford cars. If it was only available in the United States, there were 82,000 of them sold here in the U.S. Ford says they would still keep making it, even if it was only being sold here at 82,000 cars a year in the U.S., because it is that iconic brand. Like GM sells a lot fewer Corvettes, and this is the car when people think of American sports cars.
I am so practical. Every time I go to buy a car, I think, what do I want? And then I don't get what I want. I get what I need, right? So I get the base model. I get the hybrid. I get the, And at some point in my life, I want to buy the car that I want.
Yeah, get it.
Do
it.
So we bought you the car that you wanted, and it was nice.
Yeah.
That was the F-150.
Yeah.
So when people talk about the sports cars, it's like, well, do I want a sports car? I don't. I actually really want something that's four-wheel drive and zippy and fun.
Yeah. So one of my former colleagues, when he retired a couple years ago, showed up on his retirement day, last day of school, with a brand new convertible car, and it was like the classic, midlife, whatever. I mean, he was done, man. I'm done working. I'm going to have what I want now. And
good for him.
It was cool, and everyone was blown away, like, "Oh my God, that's
a beautiful
car," right?
Good for him.
Right.
So let's go ahead and go to a break. I'm Erin Brinker,
and I'm Tobin Brinker,
and we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA. We'll be right back.
KCAA Loma Linda, 1050 AM, K292 FQ Riverside, and K293 CF Moreno Valley.
NBC News Radio, I'm Lisa Carter. Trump attorney Rudy Giuliani says the president could have shot former FBI Director James Comey and not be prosecuted until after he left office. In an interview with HuffPost, Giuliani claimed Trump's power as president extends so far that he can't be indicted on a criminal charge or even subpoenaed for questioning.
Giuliani also saying the president probably has the power to pardon himself, but stressed President Trump has no plans to do so.
NBC's Kristen Welker. First Lady Melania Trump will make her first appearance in weeks tonight. The First Lady's attendance at a reception for Gold Star families will be her first public outing since she was hospitalized for several days. Arizona police believe a string of shootings in Phoenix and suburban Scottsdale are connected. The killing started Thursday when noted psychologist Stephen Pitt was shot to death outside his office. On Friday, 2 women who worked as paralegals were shot and killed. Police are also investigating a 4th deadly shooting on Saturday. Lisa Carter, NBC News Radio.
It's time for traffic on KCAA. I'm Erin Brinker. In Murrieta on the 15 southbound between the 215 South and Winchester Road, traffic is completely stopped, so please slow down when you get to that area. In Rubidoux on the 60 eastbound approaching Rubidoux Boulevard, a full tire and a rim are in the right lane. In Fontana on the 15 southbound after Summit Avenue, a stalled car is now in the center divider. And in Moreno Valley on the 215 southbound after Alessandro Boulevard, a stalled car has made it into the center divider. The 215 north is slow from Alessandro to University. The 60 west is busy between Pigeon Pass and the 215. This has been your traffic on KCAA. We are the stations that leave no listener behind. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Alvin Washington. We're looking at sunshine and hot temperatures on your way back to work Monday, 94 the high. Mostly clear, mild tonight, low 59. Sunny, not quite as hot on Tuesday, a high of 87. Partly cloudy Tuesday night, low 58. I'm Alvin Washington, broadcasting live from the Tri-City Center at the 10 and 210 freeways. We are the trifecta of talk in Southern California, KCAA, 102.3 FM Riverside, 106.5 FM Redlands, and the Legacy 1050 AM, Loma Linda, San Bernardino.
It's not just a home or a car. It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your epic wing recipe and the 3-hour family road trip to the tailgate party. While other insurance companies just see them as bundles or combos, State Farm agent Joe Amlani sees your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Joe understands what your things really mean to you, and he's here to help you give them the protection that they deserve. Call State Farm agent Joe Amlani in Redlands for your home and auto insurance today.
This is Marge Doyle, RN, and I approve this message. Mixed status families are being torn apart every day. Dreamers pay $11 billion a year in taxes. We must stop destroying families, communities, and our economy.
I, like most Americans, come from an immigrant family. I support March Doyle for Congress because she will fight for immigrants to have a path to citizenship and help create immigration policies to keep families together. Please vote for March Doyle for Congress on Tuesday, June 5th, because our families depend on it.
Paid for by Marge Doyle for Congress, 2018.
Hey, this is Gary Garver. You know, I've been having trouble getting a good night's sleep lately. Maybe you have too. Well, if you have been, South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out. South Pacific Sleep Lab provides a personal study to help you find out how to get a great night of sleep. I've been having sleeping issues during the night lately for a number of reasons. South Pacific Sleep Lab evaluated me with an overnight study of my sleep pattern. With their professional staff, they were able to provide me with a diagnosis of my sleep pattern, and ever since, I haven't had much of a problem getting a great night of sleep. South Pacific Sleep Lab has locations throughout Southern California, including one in Fontana, and they will provide transportation to any of their locations at no cost to you. South Pacific Sleep Lab can help you out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Just give them a call at 844-SAD-5050 to schedule your appointment today. That's 844-SAD-5050.
You're listening to The Rant Line. For Phil's Gang, please hold.
Just heard a piece of an ad for Phil's Gang on KCAA, and wow, back about 2005, I found myself out of work, and one of the things I was doing was KCAA was playing Phil's Gang, and he was predicting in 2005 a collapse of the housing market. Well, I ended up getting a job in the glass business, and things were pretty good until a collapse in the housing market caused, my job to go bankrupt, and I ended up chasing a bachelor's degree and got a master's degree just now. 2 weeks ago, got my master's degree in the mail. But this Phil's Gang feller, he was talking about how people had the teaser rates with their mortgages and that the whole thing was going to collapse. Y'all have a good day.
Call the KCAA Rent Line, 909-353-1050.
Listen to Phil's Gang right here, 1 p.m. weekdays on KCAA.
KCAA, where every day is a great day.
It's getting to the point where I'm no fun anymore.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050, FM 106.5, and FM 102.3. And I'm so pleased to welcome to the show Karen White. She's a New York Times best-selling author of more than 20 novels, including the Trad Street series, The Night the Lights Went Out, Flight Patterns, The Sound of Glass, A Long Time Gone, and The Time Between. She's the co-author of The Forgotten Room with New York Times bestselling authors Beatrice Williams and Lauren Willig. She grew up in London, but now lives with her husband and 2 children near Atlanta, Georgia. She's written a new book called Dreams of Falling. Karen White, welcome to the show.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
So tell us about your novel.
Oh, in 5 minutes. Yeah, it's 400 pages. And let me see if I can do this in 5 minutes. It's a story about friendships. 3 best friends growing up in Georgetown, South Carolina. That's a small, gorgeous southern town between Charleston and Myrtle Beach. And Three Best Friends, it's 1951. They take a high school graduation trip to Myrtle Beach, where something very devastating happens, something that basically has repercussions for the next 50 years. And then we jump forward, it's 2010, and one of their granddaughters is living in Manhattan. She gets a phone call saying her mother has disappeared, and please come home and help us figure this out. And, of course, when she does, it opens this Pandora's box into the secrets of the past that have been going on for 50 years, and she starts peeling them back layer by layer.
Oh, wow. So what compelled you to write this book?
You know, I think it's just, you know, my mother and my parents were growing up in the 50s, I guess 40s and 50s, and my grandmother has these trunks of dresses that my mother and her 4 sisters wore. And my mother's from Indianola, Mississippi, you know, so everything was, you always dressed up. And, you know, my cousins, my girl cousins and I would go through these trunks in my grandmother's house and put on these gorgeous clothes from the 50s with the crinolines and the stays and the, you know, the off the shoulder, and we just felt like we were Grace Kelly. And you know, and I knew I had been born in the wrong time period, and now that I'm an author, I get to time travel by picking which time periods I want to experience.
So, wow, that actually, I can imagine every little girl loves dress up, every one of us. And so, and the little girls that are still inside the big girls. And so that must have been fun, going through those trunks and putting on those clothes.
Absolutely. And then when I discovered Georgetown, and, you know, I was driving from Pawleys Island to Charleston, and I saw a big sign that said, you know, Annual Shag Festival. I'm like, I've got to get off this exit here and figure out what this town is all about. And that's why, you know, I had the then all of a sudden I had the setting, and I had my time period. I just needed to know who these characters were, and that was the next step.
So you're writing about mothers and daughters, which must have been interesting.
It is. You know, obviously I have a mother and I have a daughter, and I was very close to my maternal grandmother. And I just, you know, I have a son, I have 3 brothers, husband, all that, but I just find the mother-daughter relationship the most amazing and the most fraught, the most wonderful relationship a woman could have, and also the most difficult. And I think that just lends itself to, you know, to novels.
So what role did dream analysis play in the novel?
It starts with, so the main character, Larkin, who's the contemporary character, she has always been troubled by her mother's distance and her recurring nightmares of being in a burning house.
Ooh.
And so to try to mend their relationship, to think that she can solve her mother's problems, she becomes, you know, she starts really, it's kind of her hobby, dream analysis. And I got that because my daughter really got into dream analysis for a while, but she can never analyze my dreams because they're just so weird. But that's sort of what you know, got Larkin interested in her mother's past. And when you understand, as you go through the book, what's happening, the meaning of her mother's dreams. But dreams, you know, the dreams of falling in the title, it's more than just kind of dreams that you have in your subconscious, but dreams also what you wish for your future and for your children's future. You know, in one of the opening scenes, we have the 3 best friends from 1951 writing their dreams on ribbons and putting them into the opening of a tree that's said to be a thin place. It's a Celtic legend, you know, where thin places are the places in the world where this world and the next are closest together. And for generations, one of their families has had this tree in this opening, and that's the reason why, you know, all the women are beautiful, all the men are handsome, why the family's always had success.
Wow.
They put their dreams on these ribbons, and then they head to Myrtle Beach, and of course, nothing happens the way it's supposed to happen.
So, you know, when you chose Georgetown as the setting for dreams of falling. Now, you talked about kind of getting off the freeway. What was the thing that most attracted you to this town? What was the most endearing?
You know, it looks a lot like Charleston in that it's got all these beautiful historic homes, and it's set on 2 rivers. So you have the beautiful river views and the docks and the harbor walk. It's just visually so appealing. the big oak trees with the moss draping, off the limbs. But I love that it was so small. It is a beautiful southern town, small southern town, and it's got so much history. It's where the Marquis de Lafayette, during the Revolution, that's the first place he stepped foot in the United States, was in Georgetown, South Carolina.
Oh.
So it's got, history that goes way, 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 way back. And it's still a very small southern town. And I love that, how, a town that's been there for so long and that has seen so much, surely it's got stories. And, of course, it was so inspiring, and it was an easy pick for this book.
So how did the locals, first of all, I imagine that you spent some time there writing, and did anybody approach you, and did you talk about did you connect with any of the locals?
I did. I found it was really funny because I was actually doing a book signing in Pawleys Island, which is only, 15 minutes south of, it's about 15 minutes north of Georgetown, and so I was doing a signing there. And I was seated at a table with a fan, Marilyn Barnhill, and she was an older woman, and she was asking me what my next book was. I said, well, it's set in Georgetown, but I don't know, I can certainly find out about the contemporary Georgetown by visiting, but I really need to meet someone who lived there during the 50s. She's like, I was born and raised in Georgetown.
Wow.
She says, I was there in the 50s. I'm like, oh my gosh. So she was so generous with her time. I called her several times, and we corresponded back and forth just to get, some of the little details that you can't find. What did teenagers do, on Friday nights? Where did they go? Where did they hang out? Where did they eat? Where did they shop? What was the entertainment? And she was so very, very helpful. As a matter of fact, I could write a whole other book with all the information she gave me, but there's limited pages. But yeah, so that, finding a resource like that is priceless when writing a book.
So I'm looking at pictures of it on their Georgetown website, and it is endearing. It is enchanting.
It is. Yes, exactly. I mean, just the second I drove down the main street, I'm like, oh, this is so pretty. This is it. This is a great setting.
Now, are you going to be doing any book signings in California?
Please make me weep. No, not this time around. It's been a few years. I've done a few signings, but it's been a few years now. I think I'm due to come back.
Awesome. Well,
just sadly not this book tour.
Just not okay. Well, for the next book that you write about Georgetown, South Carolina, and its residents, so you'll come out this way.
The good news is that the book will be available at your local booksellers in California, wherever you are. So yes.
Well, wonderful. So how do people find you and follow you on social media?
Oh, that's easy. My website is the best place to start, Karen-White.com, and it has all my social media icons on there to click, including, Twitter, of course, Instagram, and Pinterest. And I mentioned the Pinterest one because I have a Dreams of Falling Pinterest page that has pictures of Myrtle Beach and Georgetown and modern day and 1950s.
Oh, that's
really a real good
awesome.
Glimpse. And it's a work in progress. I'm adding pictures all the time, but to give you a visual while you're reading the book.
Well, that's wonderful. I can't wait. I'm going to check it out as soon as I'm off the air. Karen White, thank you so much. This has been delightful.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
So it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we will be right back.
It's not just a home or a car. It's the 5 hours you spend in the kitchen mastering your epic wing recipe and the 3-hour family road trip to the tailgate party. While other insurance companies just see them as bundles or combos, State Farm agent Joe Amlani sees your home and car as the time and memories you put into them. Joe understands what your things really mean to you, and he's here to help you give them the protection that they deserve. Call State Farm agent Joe Amlani in Redlands for your home and auto insurance today.
The Tri-City Shopping Center in Redlands is serving up some really cool ice cream at La Micho Acana. Then get your chocolates and other delights from C's Candies. Moms and future moms who visit the mall can cool off and relax while they get treated like royalty at Shiny Nails or Francis Nails and then pampered at Texture Hair. The Tri-City Center is filled with retailers who care about you. Shop at the Tri-City Center in Redlands and see why they call it the Mall with a Heart.
On June 5th, the choice is clear. James Ramos for State Assembly. James Ramos is tackling homelessness in our community, finding permanent housing for more than 400 veterans. Now he's helping homeless youth and families find housing. James Ramos is fighting to keep us safe. San Bernardino County Police and Sheriff support James Ramos for Assembly. We need him in the State Assembly fighting for us. James Ramos for State Assembly. Paid for by People for Better Government Committee of the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians. Not authorized by a candidate or a committee controlled by a candidate.
Here's Replete Vegan Skincare founder Elizabeth Thoreau.
Investing in your beauty is investing in quality of your life. The secret is in Replete Spring Serum Complex. It puts elasticity back in your jawline contour for completely remodeling the effects of winter. It improves firmness. It gets rid of sagging and wrinkles. And it puts the smoothness, radiance, and freshness you want in a spring day.
RepleteSkincare.com for your skin to look and feel its best.
This is Marge Doyle, RN, and I approve this message. The 8th District has some of the most visited public lands in the country, which are directly tied to our economy and thousands of jobs. When elected, I will ensure that we preserve our natural resources.
I am extremely lucky to live in the Mojave Desert. I know Marge. She will fight to protect our public lands from the desert all the way up the Eastern Sierra. These natural treasures give us jobs and grow our local economies. Please vote with me for Marge Doyle on Tuesday, June 5th. These are critical times.
Paid for by Marge Doyle for Congress, 2018.
San Bernardino is broken. Broken streets, broken ideas, broken priorities, broken promises, just plain broke. There's never been a more important time to change San Bernardino than now, and that change starts with electing Gigi Hanna for mayor.
I can trust Gigi because she's smart and she knows what she's doing. As a city clerk, she didn't get a vote, but she's seen what's wrong firsthand. Gigi Hanna can fix San Bernardino.
Growing up in San Bernardino, I know one thing. San Bernardino needs a new mayor, and now we've got to take our city back. We've had smart, but not honest. And sometimes we've had honest, but not smart. And we need to get both smart and honest. Gigi Hanna is that combo.
Gigi Hanna is just what San Bernardino needs. A smart, well-educated, and honest mayor who has San Bernardino's best interests at heart.
It's time to fix broken San Bernardino. Vote Gigi Hanna for mayor.
Paid for by Friends of Gigi Hanna for mayor of San Bernardino, 2018.
Well, I'm running down the road trying to loosen my load. I got 7 women on my mind. 4 that wanna own me, 2 that wanna stone me, 1 so she's a friend of mine. Take it easy, take it easy. Don't let the sound of your own wheels drive you crazy. Lighten up while you still can.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
So love this song.
Just find a place to make your stand. Take it easy.
So California has a water issue. And I say a water issue. California has a politics issue.
Yes, they do.
We don't have a water issue. And I say this. So the governor talk about what the governor has done, Tobin.
Yeah. So the headline I think really sets this tone for us. It says permanent California restrictions approved by Governor Jerry Brown. So get ready to save water, folks. The drought may be over, but California residents should prepare themselves for new and more permanent restrictions on water use. Governor Jerry Brown signed a pair of bills Thursday to set permanent overall targets for indoor and outdoor water consumption. Assembly Bill 1668 by Assemblywoman Laura Friedman, Democrat from Glendale.
Of course.
And Senate Bill 606 from Senator Bob Hertzberg, Democrat from Los Angeles, give water districts more flexibility than the strict cuts mandated under Brown's emergency drought order, and will eventually allow state regulators to assess thousands of dollars in fines against jurisdictions that do not meet the goals.
Okay, so let's be honest. I don't believe this is about water. This is about money.
Yeah, it is.
So because the government in California the one-party government in California cannot stop spending.
Well,
they are a drug-addicted, rave-attending teenager with daddy's credit card.
Here's what happened when we did the water restrictions, right? All those water agencies saw their revenue drop dramatically.
Of course they did.
Right? Because people weren't buying their water. And so they suddenly got scared. Like, oh, my God, oh, my God. So they came up with this new regime, which is designed to make sure that whatever happens, they get their money. It's not about the water. It's about the money. I think you're right. And so here's the quote. It says, in preparation for the next drought and our changing environment, we must use our precious resources wisely. When they say precious resources,
they mean money.
Think money. Yeah. We have efficiency goals for energy and cars, and now we have them for water.
Now, I love it when people will say, yes, we live in a drought, blah, 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 blah. But look at what Israel has done.
Yeah.
And y'all may not realize this, but Israel has turned their desert landscape into fertile, beautiful land.
Yeah.
And they have perfected desalination, or some people say desalinization. Either both are correct, I think. Now they can use their seawater
to take the salt out of the water.
They take the salt out of the water. They can use their seawater and they're actually exporting water. They have so much.
Right.
And there's no reason.
Yeah.
We've got 1,000 miles of coastline in California.
Yes. So here's the limits. Listen to these limits. The law sets an initial limit for indoor water use of 55 gallons per person per day in 2022. And it'll gradually drop down to 50 gallons per person by 2030.
Okay, so to give you some perspective, the average load of laundry, from what I understand, uses about 40 gallons.
Yes.
Let that sink in for a second.
Yes. Now, here's the current standards, right? California currently uses an average of 90 gallons of indoor and outdoor water per day in 2017. That's down from 109 gallons back in 2013, right? So they want us to go from what we're currently using, which is 90, down to 50. Right? Now, I want to share what this looks like, because I work in a public school, and of course the public agencies are always the first ones to adopt all these new mandates. They just put in the low-flow toilets at my school. Guess what's been happening?
People had to flush 3 and 4 times.
Yes, and we had all these backups.
Yes.
We've had plumbers on our campus every day since they've done this, having to work on the lines because everything gets clogged up and backed up because it won't flush properly, and then we have sewage, raw sewage, and stink in the bathrooms, in the hallways, because it won't flush. It's not enough water, right?
But we're building a train to nowhere.
So kids get to sit in rooms where they can smell the poo, right? And no one wants to go in the bathrooms because it's all gross and disgusting because it won't flush, right? But we're saving water.
But we're not really. No, we're not. No, we're not. And the idea, so there was, I read one article where a woman said that she lived in Texas, and she liked to take showers 3 times a day. And all the smug Californians who live on the coast, people that were commenting, and even smug Californians who live out here, why do they need to take 3 showers a day? First of all, you don't get to decide, Mr. Totalitarian, what other people can do. Yes. I'm sorry. And the other thing about it is, have you ever been to Houston in the summer? Because you never feel clean. You never, and there is no respite in the shade, right? So if you're outside, you are standing in a wall of steam.
Yeah.
That's it.
It's nasty.
It is nasty. That is just what the summers feel like in Houston. So, be judgmental and not know what the hell you're talking about. That's what's happening.
Yeah. It's interesting that instead of trying to create a program that incentivizes the kind of innovation that they have in Israel with desalinization, right? Instead of doing something like that, they've come up with a punitive regime that's designed to punish and fine people who don't do what the government tells you to do.
Crazy, right?
Right. And so now we're going to have to worry about the water police coming around, right, and getting billed. And you're going to find people, because when you put these kind of regimes in place, you're going to find people who are going to get creative about breaking the rules, right? And so, I've heard of people stealing cable. watch people start stealing
well,
water.
We've already seen that when it comes to cannabis farming. So people who have an indoor grow house and they don't want to attract attention to themselves, so they'll steal water from neighbors.
Yeah.
It does happen. All of a sudden, you've got this incredible water bill, and you're like, "What the heck happened?"
Yeah.
And so that's already happening. And why I am so tired of people. Well, those people shouldn't be doing this, that, and the other. I posted a speech that was given by, or a talk that was given by Bloomberg in New York, talking about how basically that the little people should, let us, the us wise and wonderful people tell them how to live. And my comment is, this is exactly why Trump won. Yeah. Nobody likes to be treated like they're a child. Yeah. And that's essentially what the government is doing.
Yeah. Treating us like a child and taking our money.
If you went to the public, and people say, well, there's a plant in San Diego and it was very expensive. So this isn't expensive?
Yeah.
This isn't, and you have no problem. Another thing, I'm just going to be on a rant this morning. Another thing, it's like our gas taxes. And people say, well, our gas taxes aren't that high. Yes, but if you take the fact that we have to have a special blend, and then you add the California state gas taxes, we pay like $1 more than the rest of the country per gallon.
Yes, we do.
And, it's not that bad. Well, yeah, actually it is, because it affects the cost of everything.
Yeah. Everything is more expensive in California because of the gas prices and the gas taxes. Yeah.
And water is going to make that worse.
Yeah. Well, and it's also going to make it harder. It's another thing that's going to make it harder for people to own their own homes and stuff. It's just another cost that gets added into all of this.
So at what point does the government realize that people who have the means to move out have moved out? Yeah. And I heard people, well, this is the 5th largest economy in the world, blah, blah, blah. At what point, when the productive middle class has moved out, will the state of California stop voting the same kleptocrats in?
Yeah. Maybe this year we'll see. A lot of people are running against the gas tax, so
it's
we'll see
true.
if that catches on.
And the election is tomorrow, folks.
Yes.
Get out there and vote. You want to stop ridiculousness like this? Get out there and vote Republican.
Yes. Now, there's one last story we have to do really quick here at the end because it's just so funny. They have a video of it. This is an FBI agent who went to a bar in Denver, and he was out there dancing, having a good time, and he did a backflip, right? He's a very physically fit guy, does a backflip. We had a gun in his little holster thing, and it fell out when he did his backflip, and then he reached down to pick it up, and the gun went off, and he shot someone in the bar.
Okay, that's not funny. That's scary.
It's scary, but it's ridiculous. It's like something out of a movie, right? So in my mind, in my mind's eye, I see Chris Farley as the FBI agent, right? And he's this big overweight guy, and he does the backflip, and the gun comes out, and then he does this buffoonery thing where he tries to pick it up, and it goes off. Oh my God, did I do that? It's like an Urkel moment.
Did I do that? God.
But it's all caught on video, right? I mean, this is what's wild about it.
You think somebody's going to be fired?
You think? Yeah.
Or at least reprimanded?
Proper gun handling. You don't take your gun to the nightclub when you're out dancing.
Or if you do have your gun, because a lot of these guys pack heat all the time, there's a little leather strap that you can put over the top of your gun in your holster.
Yes.
It keeps it there.
And doing a backflip.
Well, do a backflip, but have your gun holstered properly.
Yeah, but I don't know if the holster can handle the backflip, Aaron. It's a lot of G-forces being put on that gun.
So on that happy note, we're at the end of our show for today. I'm Aaron Breaker.
And I'm Tobin Breaker.
Have a great day, everyone.